Alright, Danger Drip back with another one. Yeah, so I'll be continuing the part 2 of the fart sequence. Um, these will go on for about 10 minutes in length. Uh, and I hope to get enough accomplished in each part because animations take a little bit to complete. And I guess I'm speaking for myself. Especially since I haven't been doing these for too long. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so last time we stopped um, at constructing the body, and now I kind of went ahead and did a little bit more um cleaning and correcting. But one of the issues I usually find with most animations I do is, um, how to really go about the animation, especially when it's not really done or thought out fully beforehand. And so I could easily just forget the whole thing um, and sort of just go uh, to the to working on the clouds. Um, but I'm not really sure if I want to just make it a little more interesting. And usually, when I start or begin to think of the ways in which I could do it, and of course, keeping within the guidelines, it kind of gets a little complicated because I'm not really sure um, how to go about it. And so that's really where the issue comes in doing these doing sequences like this. Um, I think I might just go ahead and play with it a little bit. I'm not really sure how far I would take it as of yet, but I think I might experiment with the movements a little bit. Now, if you've watched my previous shorts on doing these things, you would realize that there's not much uh, movement taking place. I guess you can have I do have movements going on at the sides. So movements at the sides of the figure going ups and downs around this area. Um, but I was going to include maybe just a little movement in this area and then maybe work on the face expression, the the facial expression sequence when the movement is occurring, but I still haven't really thought of how I would do that for here yet. That's something I probably might have to sleep on and then continue in the next part because I'm not really sure. But for the most part, we have the figure. Now, there was another thought I was thinking, and I guess I could leave it out, but having a skirt along here. So if you have a skirt and but then the skirt would have to be on the new layer. But if you have a skirt, and then you have probably the, or maybe you have a one-piece dress, and it ends here, right? And then it goes all the way up to, like, goes all the way up to here, perhaps, right? So you have it end here, and then you have it go all the way through up to that point, right? And then you have the movements of the skirt. Problem is, yeah, that might have to be done on another layer, and I could do that, but it's something I'm thinking about. I'm not really too sure yet. But in any case, before we even get to doing all of that, you have to have this thing, you have to have this pose run for a few frames before you decide, okay, um, let's do that. Now, I was thinking of doing movement with the leg. It could have been either one. It could have been either the left or the right, but I figured if I'm going to try with the dress, just work on that and then work on the um, fumes. Now, the direction of the fumes, I'm not even thinking about yet because I didn't even get that far. But what I might do is I might actually do more of it off camera. What I'm just showing you is the thought process of how I would begin to approach the idea. Um, okay. So because I already have this layer together, also you can see that I did the outline of the eyes. You can see a little bit of the mouth here, but I removed it because I usually do the mouth and the eyes on a separate layer. Now, I guess in the future I might be able to do all of that on one layer, but I'm not sure of the expression, so I usually leave that later on. And in this case, it may not actually take too long to get to, and it wouldn't take too many frames to do because I have the idea worked out about 60%. So because that's the case, I'm just going to duplicate layer, put this back. Wait, damn, I forgot. Okay, no, it's not that. All right, just duplicate layer, and I might do this for a couple of frames. And yeah, doing it for a couple of frames would allow me to work on maybe the vibrations on each side of the legs here, and then probably again work on the chest region here, and then with the dress I could work on the movements, which would of course go out a little bit in each direction. And then lastly, what we'll be working on for just this sequence will be the fumes. Alright, so I think that about sums it up what I did so far. The next part will probably have more frames. You'll see more frames and probably me working on either the expression, probably with the fumes and whatnot. But yeah, tomorrow you probably might see that being worked on. Okay. So that about sums up this part. If you like what you saw and you like what you heard, uh, do hit that like and subscribe button. Um, do not turn on the notification bell. I mean, unless you really want to, like, keep up with everything I post. But I would advise not to because I upload a lot, and I'll be doing so a lot for the majority of this month. Um, but yeah, check in every now and then or every day, probably around this time, to see what new posts I may have in regards to this sequence. But I'll be doing or trying to upload one every day, showing you the process. Might skip a little here and there, but each part's going to definitely have an update of what is being done, and you'll pretty much have a more or less start to finish of the sequence before I move into another one and explore another idea. And of course, more will come out with, focusing on different aspects of how I may animate um, a movement in a particular way. With that being said, leave your thoughts down in the comments, and as always, stay inspired, unlock your imagination, stay dangerous.